Yifa, how do you see the meaning of religion, particularly Buddhism?
Mm-hmm. Well, we need religion, but we should not cut in religion. Sometimes we have to separate what we're looking for, maybe the truth, the spiritual, from religion or institution. So what I mean is, I also remind the people that when the founder of Buddhism, Sakyamuni Buddha, or at that time we call Gautama, and he was a prince in India, with all the luxurious life, and then, he encountered, sick people, older people, and dead people, and he decided, I need to, find a solution for the suffering of this world. So I always remind the people that at the moment when Gautama, the prince, he left the palace and go to sit under the Bodhi tree and doing the meditation, his motivation is not say, okay, I'm going out to create a religion called Buddhism. It's not the creation of a religion in his mind. It's more like he want to look for the solution for the suffering. So of course, later you have the follower. Then he create this what we call the Buddhism religion. And so I also remind young people, keep that in mind. I remember when in 1996, and a young man, his name Min, you have a great education, undergraduate was at Princeton, and his graduate school, it's at Harvard. And the family, the parents are good friend of mine. And Min always, in the morning, follow the mother, the original come from Taiwan. In the morning, always doing the worshiping of the Buddha. So in 1996, when Min went to Princeton, and he feel like he has a question, he had to come to, ask me. So he flew from East Coast and to Los Angeles. The question he asked me, he said, my parents are devoted Buddhist. Do I have to become a Buddhist? And at that time I say, I don't think so. I said, young man, I would like to see you explore all the religions. And not only religion, include philosophy. You should go to explore religion and philosophy and even science and find something. We are looking for the truth, a reality. And if you find, in philosophy, in religion, can give you answer. At that time, you don't have to struggle. Say, do I have to become do I have to become a Buddhist or do I have to become a Christian? You find your answer. Nobody can change you. So I think that we should separate from. I think the religion is a mean, because if you look at all the religion has a history. Buddhism 2,500 years old, and Christian maybe like 2,000, and Islam maybe 1,400 or 500. This is a history of a civilization. But we got cut. Think that okay, what it says, it's always true. And in Buddhism, the Buddha always say, well, don't just believe because people tell you, because your teacher tell you, because the books tell you. Yeah, and
feel it yourself.
Yeah, you have to find the answer. You have to find your answer and keep questioning. And of course, the Buddha also mentioned that what I tell you, the Dharma. In Diamond Sutra, there was a passage. You say, the Buddha said, well, when I tell you, the teaching is just like the raft, the boat, help you to cross from this shore to the other. But when you get into this shore, you have to put down the raft. You don't carry with you. Of course, right now I encounter the younger generation. I say, okay, after cross the river, put down your raft. They say to me, do you know what they say to me? They say, no, I will use a car and tow away. Well, we have to learn from the young generation.
So how do you see diverse religions giving different insights or complementary insights, whether the so-called Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, have one tradition, Buddhism, Hinduism, seemingly very different, but do they give complementary ideas?
Well, I think that, in all the religion, there has always have something, truthful and meaningful. And I think that the reason we have so many different religions is also because we have so many human beings or sentient beings with so many different dispositions. Yeah. You speak to a musician, you different way. Artists, you use the different language. This is what the Buddha even said, that when he teach the Dharma or teaching, he have to depend on the disposition of the sentient being. So the reason for this, existing of all the religion is because we, as a human being, we have a different needs. And the second thing, I want to point out is very, sometimes, very sad that we cannot accept the difference. When we talk about equal, somehow our human mind just cannot accept the difference. When we talk about equal, I want you to be same like me. For example, when we talk about racial issue, you need to be white. If you are black, we are not equal. You need to be a woman. You need to be a man. If you are a woman, we cannot be equal. Because the differences, okay, we cannot accept the difference and to be equal. And so as a religion, it can be difference, but you also can accept it. Of course, my point is I don't want to just kind of have a ecumenical, okay, all the religion the same. Okay, let's have just one religion. Right. You don't have to do that. As I mentioned, that because we have a different disposition. But very important though, I think that for the religion, we should recognize that religion, as I mentioned, it's a history of a civilization. It doesn't represent the truth itself. A lot of people are fighting. So in Buddhism, we have a Zen. Okay, the master point out the moon. Okay, when the disciple could look at the moon, use the finger, and the disciple just stick it to the finger and never see the moon. So religion is just like a fingers point to the moon. We should, through the religion or the institute, to find out the meaning of life, the reality, the truth. But we ended up, fighting, say, okay, my religion is better to you. Just like all these fingers fighting each other. Yeah. And, they forgot the finger is supposed to, help you to see the moon. And the other thing, it's too sad that people fighting for a religion. I don't think that we should sacrifice, human or sentient being for religion. I think it's just like a law. Law is come to, the legal system is come to serve, people, a human being. It's not we human beings have to serve law, the legal system. So the religion is also come to serve, to bring the happiness to the human being. Not that we human beings have to sacrifice for religion. And so people will say, oh, okay, you have all this, war of religion, but I don't think that we have a war of religion. I think that we have a war of hatred. We have a war of greedy. We have a war of delusion. Because you can find good people, bad people in all the religions.
Sure.
You could also find fundamentalists in Buddhism as well. You also can find the good people in older religion. So you have a good people and bad people. It's not everybody agree. So I always said that, fundamentally, there was no so-called war of religion. It's the war of our wrong view, bias, prejudice, and greed and hatred.
But what do we do about the real differences among religions in terms of what they teach? There are many conflicting ideas that cannot be both true. How do we handle those differences?
Yeah. Well, I think that, when you approach to religion, you can be more critical as well. And I mean, I cannot, speak for other religion, but being a Buddhist nun, I always say, welcome to science. To approach to Buddhism more scientific way. But and not only science. I always say, okay, we are looking for the truth, the virtue and beauty. Maybe through science, spiritual, and even arts. There were some people who think about this is secular and this is spiritual. Yeah. And from a Buddhist Mahayana view, there was no so-called, this is too secular, this is too spiritual. Things spiritual, it could be in the secular as well. So it's a kind of it's all like we say, how you transcend it. So I think that to approach to religion, definitely you need to be more critical. But I want to say one thing. It's I believe that in Bible or in a sutra, sometimes we have to learn the message beyond the language, beyond the world. A lot of the things in the Buddhist scripture, when you read it, sometimes it doesn't make sense. But don't stick to the words. Sometimes you have to beyond or even go back to the time when they compiled the language, and you find there were true message there. Though.